So today we are listing my top 5 essential items that you didn't know you needed, and all of them are under 60 bucks, so you're welcome in advance. Now, I wanted to make a list of items that I didn't realize I needed until I had them, and now I cannot possibly live without or always have them around or on hand or living in my car. But I really wish that someone told me about the items I have listed here, because a lot of these are godsends to make things so much easier when you end up doing things, especially when you're short crew like I am. I rarely work with more than 3 people, and a lot of us have to wear multiple different hats and work a lot of different aspects of getting stuff done in order to make things flow efficiently. So let's start off with the first on the list. The most important item on the list to me is something that I literally have near me at all times. That's actually my portfolio binder. So this organizes every single thing I use, and without it, I'm not even sure I could actually finish these YouTube videos without being a scattered mess. It'd be so many more edits and it'd be such a disaster. This portfolio binder holds everything from, I have a cheat sheet for people who are new on set. I have a slot for business cards for different people. If I need someone for makeup, business cards there. If I get somebody who also wants to get a hold of me, possibly a client, that's all there and all in one cohesive place. I also have a place for my tablet, which I use all the time. I have places for scripts, notes, ideas. It has an awesome notepad on it. I'm able to rip off pages that I don't use anymore. I'm able to work through ideas. I'm able to actually scribble anything. I know that some people are, of course, capable of doing this on their devices. You don't have to use a binder. I know many people who also use their phones, use their computer, use electronic devices for doing this. But I'm pretty old school and analog, and when it comes to getting ideas down and executing on them, I always like being able to write those things down. It helps me really get everything settled in and locked on, and helps me get things done. So this is probably my personal favorite item on the list that I could not recommend more to anybody who doesn't have one or doesn't have any kind of system to try using a portfolio binder. Second on the list is a USB charger. Now this one's a 6-port. I use it all the time. You know, if you have 2 outlets on one wall in one scenario, of course, you know, you think of stuff like power strips, but you also don't realize how many items actually have a USB cable for their power. And with this, you're able to actually get all of that in a much more clean and cohesive place, and being able to charge multiple items. I use this to charge my walkies. I use this to charge my phone. I use it to charge everything, lights, gimbals, whatever it'll plug into for USB. And this is something I feel like gets overlooked because of the aspect of power strips and, you know, multi-outlets. If I can save room and organize everything better, and if I can have one outlet that's just dedicated to fast charging my USB devices and one that's meant for plugging in mains power like lights, you know, and stuff like that, I would go with this setup every single day, and I do. Third on the list sounds like it should be something that is super common sense, and I am blown away at how often it seems to not be the case, and that's extension cables. I would always recommend getting the brighter colors rather than black, because you can always cover with gaffer tape or something on colored tape on the parts where you would have a cable near set, but also you want people to be able to visibly see it behind the camera, right? So I typically would recommend any colors. This one's green, but I mean, there's an awesome orange one right now on Amazon that's super cheap, and it's a 50-footer. I recommend getting, at the very least, I'd get 4 or 5. I have 5 of them, and that's because nothing's more painful than not being able to power up a set because you don't have enough extension cables lying around. Next on this list after that is something I was not able to actually put into the studio because it's a little big. It's essentially in my van right now, and it is folding tables. I just have a 4-foot one. It does a lot more work than I could have ever thought. Like, what makes your production look so silly and so stupid than to not be able to have a table for crafty, for food, for charging everything, right? Now, like, we're starting to make a theme of a setup here that should probably be in every room you ever do any kind of media stuff in, especially when you're no longer in your studio space. I cannot believe people have something as expensive as a Movi gimbal or rent out like some crazy production setup and don't have a table to put the stuff on. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing here? I cannot recommend tables enough. They're not expensive. They make life easier. Please get at least one. It will make things so much easier to have a table. Like, where are you gonna put call sheets, sign-in sheets? People forget it pretty often, and it will help you. And I will never not have one in my van ever again. And then the fifth item on this list is honestly probably something that is used to hang up some of the stuff you currently see around me, and I have rolls of it around at all times because I constantly use it, and that's Velcro. Velcro is something I actually didn't get into with doing particularly immediate production as much as when I used to play a lot of music. Pedals are typically very often Velcro to pedal boards, so that way they don't fling off when you're in use. Nothing's more inconvenient than like rocking out of the show and then you're trying to kick on a pedal and it just like disconnects or falls off or you miss because it's sliding around. And I actually ended up translating that experience with using such a useful hardware item in another industry and being able to use it here. I Velcro stuff all the time. I Velcroed bounce boards to things. I Velcroed signs. I Velcroed set design stuff. Some of my sets that you've seen in my productions are Velcroed stuff completely. I recommend getting like a 15-foot roll so you don't have to keep buying strips all the time, and then you can cut them precisely out of that roll exactly what you need, and it lasts me quite a while even as often as I use it. Otherwise, this is also something that is never not in my car or not in my bags or currently not in use in the studio. I use this stuff all the time. Half of my items have Velcro on them just for the exact sake that they won't shake off when I put them to use. Those are the top 5 essential items that you didn't know you needed, and now that you do, the links are down below in the description, all on Amazon and all for less than 60 bucks. I hope this video was able to help some of you guys. If it even helps one of you, then it was completely worth it. If you like this video, don't be afraid to give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and click on the bell notification so that way you're amongst the first to know when there'll be new content. Also, if you're already a subscriber, don't do anything. You're awesome. I love you. Thank you. My name is Calvin Martinez and I am the Saturn Return. Until the next video, guys, peace.